Chag Sameach, happy Passover. I just rewatched the Rugrats Passover special for the first time in quite some time. This was the first Rugrats Jewish holiday special. The studio wanted them to do Hanukkah first because that was the more well-known one, but the Jewish writers really pushed to do a Passover special first because they didn't know if they'd get the chance to do another one, and Passover is a bigger deal to Judaism than Hanukkah is. Hanukkah was just kind of made a big deal because of its proximity to Christmas. The Passover special is a classic. It is a beloved in Jewish families, and I gotta say, I liked it. I had a decent enough time watching it, but maybe it's just the hype that's built up, or the fact that it's over 30 years old now, but it was just okay for me. The first 5 minutes I found were the most unbearable parts for me. In the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh no, is this going to be bad? You've got Angelica complaining about there's no presents on Passover, and like, fine, yeah, I get that. Let's set up like, oh, kids might not think that this holiday is great because there's no presents, but let's spend the episode showing why the holiday is great, and by the end of it, Angelica does like Passover because of the great story that's behind it. But we also have Stu in the other car, an adult man who should be more mature and is very supportive in the Hanukkah episode, but in this one he's like, ugh, Passover's such a boring holiday. Do we have to do the Seder? This sucks. And if his attitude changed by the end, I'd feel a little bit better, but even at the very end of the episode, he's still like, Seder's... So I didn't find that funny or charming. The one bit of that I did enjoy that, could have played the non-Jew going into the Jewish customs well. He's reading from the Haggadah, and he says, like, and then we blah, blah, blah. Stu, can't you put some more emotion to that? I'm just reading what it says! If the episode were not surrounded by him being such a sour sport, I'd find that funny. Like, okay, yeah, it can be boring if the person doing the thing isn't putting feeling into it. And I was also really peeved off by the grandmother crying at the grandmother and the grandfather have a fight. She thinks that he runs away when in actuality he gets locked in the attic by mistake. But every time someone says Boris, this is now a trigger for her, and she starts crying, Boris! Every time they say his name, and it rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it, especially because he's the asshole in the argument. Like, she's in the right. She should be like, he ran away after being a jerk. Good riddance. We'll see. If he comes back, fine, he comes back. But if not, whatever. There could have been some more depth of, like, actually she is upset, but, they didn't go that route. But that being said, the adult parts wasn't a huge fan of. The stuff in the attic, the telling of the story, especially this is the Rugrats starting the holiday tradition of them having the babies take the place of the main characters in the ancient stories. I found that it worked pretty well for Passover. I think it worked better for the Hanukkah and Purim stories because those were a little less mature stories. In the Passover story, of course, there's a lot of death, especially with that last plague there. And there's, blood and that kind of stuff. So they meld it down a bit, but I think they did it well. I found myself laughing at a lot of the bits. I found myself enjoying, along with the kids, the story that was being told. So all of that stuff in the attic felt genuine. So for me, I think once you get past the first 5 minutes, which soured me to the episode, if you let yourself get past that and stay open to it, I found myself warming up to it a lot by the end. So while I think parts of this special haven't aged well, I think overall it is still a good special and is definitely important for being such an early example of a Jewish holiday special airing on television. Those are my thoughts on the Rugrats Passover special. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I also did videos on this for their Hanukkah special and their brand new Purim special, which came out last month. Check those out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Passover.